Hey, I'm Dr. Lauren Jones and I'm a postdoctoral researcher at Flinders University, and my research focuses on how the gut brain talks to our brain and how this plays a role in mental health. I'm going to be talking about my research which focuses on serotonin, the happy hormone you've probably heard of. It's actually mainly produced in our gut, and I'm interested in how our gut serotonin influences our mental health. I'm super excited to be a part of Soapbox Science because I think that the public understanding what's going on in science is really important. I think this is evidenced by recently in the COVID pandemic, all this hysteria, I suppose, around COVID vaccines and how the vaccines work and whether they're safe. And I think this really highlights why it's important that the public understand what we're doing as scientists.
Hi, my name is Natasha Nagel. I have my master's in archaeological science from Cambridge University, where I studied the geological materials that ancient peoples used to create their tools. What I'm studying now is I'm moving into studying for my PhD in archaeology and science communication, and I'm really interested in how we can use science to serve as building blocks for our understanding of the world around us, and what that means for our stories as both humans, human-to-human interactions, as well as human-to-environment interactions, and how it affects how we interact with the world. And I'm super excited to be part of Soapbox Science because I think it's a great way to reach out to the community here in Adelaide and also the wider Australian community. Teach them a little bit more about the research that each of us do, but also just really get people interested in science and why it's important and how we actually go about doing our magical sciencey work.
I'm Ash Geiger and I am a third-year PhD candidate at the South Australian Health and Medical Research Institute, also through the University of Adelaide, and I'm a genome editor. So I study ways that we can use something called CRISPR-Cas9, which is the way that we can target and cut DNA, and I look at doing that for therapeutic purposes, so genome editing as medicine. So just like you maybe have a Panadol if you have a headache, maybe you'll take some genome editing if you need to cure an eye disease, for example, which is what I'm looking at the moment. At Soapbox Science, I'm going to be talking just about how we can use genome editing technology to change our world and to make people's lives better. And so I do that in the context of genome therapeutics, so I'm looking at it as medicine. But we can also use gene editing to do things like engineer crops to be climate change resistant, or maybe we can do it genome editing to help discover things about genes that we currently don't understand. There are so many ways that we can use DNA editing in order to enrich our understanding of the world and to help people's lives become better, and that's what I'm really passionate about and what I'm looking forward to sharing with you all. If I can help one person even understand a bit more about how this area of science is going to make the world a better place, I'll be a very happy lady.
Hello, my name is Anja. I'm a third-year PhD candidate at the University of Adelaide. I'm a German pharmacist and now in the medical field, and I look at bone infections, more specifically in persisting infections, so bugs that persist over multiple years, and have a look at how they survive and how I can treat them better. At Soapbox Science, I'm going to talk about invisible bacteria, because one main problem in bone infection is that we can't find bacteria and we're not sure is there still any left or not. Because the bacteria can hide, so we find mechanism how to find them and how actually bacteria makes themselves hide, and then I look and also how to kill them and how to detect if they're actually killed or not. I think science communication is great and very important because I come from a non-scientific background whatsoever and had no idea what science actually means, and I want to encourage other people who maybe don't have role models as much like I didn't have any, and to make them aware of that science is really cool and that you can definitely do that if you want to.
Hi, my name's Lauren Common. I am a PhD student at the Bird Lab at Flinders University. So I study the Darwin's finches, which are a group of birds found on the Galapagos Islands, and they are suffering because a parasite is living in the nostrils of their baby birds and drinking their blood. It's called the avian vampire fly. It was introduced to the islands about 50 years ago, but only discovered 20 years ago, and so we're just looking at how these two are responding to each other and how they've changed since the vampire fly was introduced. I'm really passionate about science communication because I love nature and I love birds, and I see a lot of people taking them for granted even though we're surrounded by such amazing creatures just living in our backyard. So I want to give people the opportunity to learn more about the animals they're surrounded with and hopefully gain a new appreciation for them. I'm really excited about Soapbox Science because I love the questions that I get from the public. I've never had so many interesting and thoughtful conversations and questions that I never would have thought of than when I'm talking with people from the public.
Hi, my name is Fenja. I'm a second-year PhD student at the University of Adelaide, specifically at the School of Chemical Engineering and Advanced Materials. And I am working on beverages for astronauts. So what a lot of people don't know is that when astronauts are in space, they don't eat enough. And that, of course, leads to a loss of body mass. And we're speaking of around 5 to 10% over the span of 6 months. And of course, that's not really acceptable if we want to go to Mars, for example, where space travel can take up to 5 years. So what we are trying to do is design new types of beverages that actually support health and well-being in space by adding nutrients to the beverages. And the way we are doing that is adding tiny oil droplets that basically encapsulate all the nutrients an astronaut might need. So I feel very passionate about science communication because it's the very tool for researchers to translate their work from the laboratories to the general public, and it helps so much for the general public to understand what is happening because it's just so relevant for our daily life. I decided to take part in Soapbox Science because I think it's a great format. It's unlike any other talk or presentation I did before, so it's very engaging, very interactive with the audience we have there, and I look forward to have like a great discussion with people that have never heard of what I'm doing before, and I'm also hoping that I might get some new ideas for my research and a different perspective on what I'm actually doing.
Hi, I'm Dr. Elise Martin, and I'm the head of a research lab at Flinders University studying the amazing gut and how it affects your health. My talk is going to be on how amazing your gut is and why it's such an important organ for you to keep happy and healthy. It is impacted by the food that we eat, the bacteria that we have, and our general lifestyle and well-being. Changes to the environment within the gut can have huge effects on our overall health and well-being, but we still don't know how or why that happens. That's what I'm going to be researching and talking to you about and convincing you why the gut is the most amazing organ in your body. I signed up for Soapbox Science because I love the work that I do. I love coming into work every day, finding out new things about our bodies, how it works, and I want to give that to the general public and convince them that science overall is the most amazing career. We are continuously learning about ourselves and our world and our environment, and so to give that information to the next generation and to the general public is just the most amazing gift.